I knew just growing up on East 39th Street in Cutoff. We had 5 individuals in the neighborhood get college football scholarship. I'm talking about 3 or 4 houses apart. And if you were 8 years old to 14, you were tackling live. So we had a rule. If you were playing and we were hitting one another and you got hurt and you started crying, you had to go stand on the sideline. Our parents had to beg us to come on, your summer's gonna get cold, you gotta come in. When I was 14, I was 5'8", 115. I went from 5'8" to 6'2", 115 to about 188, 190 in 3 years. And then I just started lifting and I got stronger. So I literally was a late bloomer. Now I could throw, but I was just little, I was skinny. I like basketball better actually because you didn't get all beat up. And so I went kind of, because I grew late, I went from point guard as a 10th grader to playing center as a senior. I played in 17 basketball games and fouled out 15 times. Basketball's fun to practice. You know, football was like, if you beat up, but always enjoyed basketball a whole lot more than football growing up. They know me as Bobby Hebert, but they know me as Bobby J. My mom gave me that nickname because I was a junior, and it could stand, I guess, for Joseph, that's my middle name, or Junior. So my mom would say Bobby, both my dad and I would look. So I was, guess, say it was 4 or 5 years old, okay, I'm calling you Bobby J, and it just stuck. When I was at Northwestern State University in Natchitoches, I didn't know anything about coverages. So being able to work with Joe Ferguson and running the Buffalo Bills offense, he showed me 3-step, 5-step, 7-step. I was like a sponge, how to read coverages. So all of a sudden, I'm redshirting. My freshman year, I got in like 2 or 3 games, but I went, the first time I ever started in 1980, I went from being a starter to All-American. But I was kind of like proud of that. I guess it's a recognition, you know, being a 1AA All-American at the time. The Michigan Panthers, the USFL came about. We won the championship game that year. We beat Coach Moore and the Philadelphia Stars. I was MVP. I came out probably the greatest year in professional football history with the top quarterbacks. John Elway, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino. Martin, there were 7 of us that started 10 years or more. Ken O'Brien. Here I was. I can remember, well, why didn't you wait for the NFL? I had a wife and kid to support. I was on food stamps for 4 months. So when the Michigan Panthers drafted me and they guaranteed me $250,000, I like won the lottery. I was like, man, I don't know if there's any Cajuns in Michigan, but I'm going up to Michigan. Being on the cover of Sports Illustrated, the reason why that was significant, because I can remember my dad on the back of the toilet in the house having a Sports Illustrated in the Bible. So I was like, whoa. So I knew that meant a lot to my dad. On the cover, man, my son's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So I remember 1991, when that occurred, I knew that'd be a big deal to my dad. Right place, right time. I peaked in my career and took advantage of opportunities that I had.
You're from here. Cutoff, Louisiana is your hometown. Northwestern Louisiana, you went to college. I understand since a young boy you were a Saints fan. Now, these fans are also your type of people. What does it mean to you to make the playoffs?
Well, you know, originally when I first signed with the Saints, there was a situation where, you know, coming back home, either I'm going to be the hero or the GOAT, and when things are working out, you know, people tend to appreciate it. And to make the playoffs, it's just a dream come true. You know, I was raised here even before the Superdome was in existence, and you know, old Tulane Stadium. So there's no better fans, I believe, in the whole United States that you have here in New Orleans. They're just so hungry for a winner, and I'm glad we're able to give them that this year.
People think like I quit and went to Atlanta or something. I wanted to stay with the Saints. We had went 12-4, had a heartbreaking loss to the Eagles, and I took the approach, how can somebody own you if you don't have a contract? You should be able to market yourself. CNN, headline news, whatever. The New Orleans Saints signed Wade Wilson. Part of the reason, I never forget how I ended up in Atlanta. I remember looking at my dad. I said, man, I guess I'm not playing with the Saints anymore. Mr. Finks went behind my back and went and get Wade Wilson. Well, they treated me so good in Atlanta. I said, well, I'm still in the South. Well, Mom and Dad, they don't have to always get on a plane. They can drive up there to see me play. In 1994, I played with a young Brett Favre and Steve Young with the 49ers in that Pro Bowl '94. And now when I see Chris Carter on TV on Fox with ESPN, I threw him a touchdown pass in the Pro Bowl. So you remember and you reflect on all of these deals, but ended up playing there for 4 seasons until '97. I had a roommate, Billy Judy, was in Tucson, Arizona, and he's from Iowa, came down to school in Northwest to get away from the cold, and lives in Tucson. All of a sudden, he just calls me. He goes, "Man, I'm just watching Seinfeld. You're on Seinfeld." The quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons.
The quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons is Bobby Hebert. Noah, which I find fascinating. You know, it's Hebert, H-E-R-B-E-R-T, Hebert, H-E-B-E-R-T. Hebert. It's a fun name to pronounce. Try and say it. Hebert. Go ahead, take a shot. Hebert. All right.
I wish it would have been the Saints. You know what I think helps me with the Bayou and the communities? That I've never forgotten where I came from. I embrace that. You know, I don't like, oh yeah, I'm from South Louisiana. No, man, I'm from Bayou Lafourche. That has nothing to do with Louisiana. There was a sports writer, he has to be dead now, because he was old then. Like Kurt Sylvester, he was the Detroit Free Press, and I'm throwing bombs to Anthony Carter. So the whole crowd be going, AC, AC. So I remember throwing him bombs. So of course, you know, journalists, he writes and goes, oh, and the Cajun Cannon. They didn't even know what a Cajun was, but that's where I got the name. That's a total Michigan Panther name, nothing to do with Louisiana from a sports writer up in Detroit. I'd like to thank Terrebonne General Medical Center and the Hall of Fame Foundation for having this. I mean, this is something that I remember the rest of my life. I'll share with my kids, with my grandkids, because it's all about community. And I just would like to thank Terrebonne General for not only being involved with the Hall of Fame, but also Saints on the Bayou. I mean, I think of football and what it's meant to me and how we love sports. And I think Terrebonne General, I think, realizes that sports is so big that it's part of the community, and now to have a Hall of Fame, a truly regionalized Hall of Fame, I'm just humbled by that. That's going to be a huge Hall of Fame. A lot of times you have players from the Bayou region that won't necessarily get acknowledged by the state, but we can acknowledge them on the Bayou, and that's what makes it so special.